listening to Nasty Knuckles, the Hockey Outlaws podcast, with your hosts, Derek Nasty Sotomayor and former Philadelphia Flyer enforcer, Riley Cote, as they go behind the scenes with your favorite NHL players. Time to face off.
All right, welcome back. What's happening, Nasty?
What's up, Rigarelia?
Doing all right?
Oh, if I was any better, it'd be you, bro.
Just come back from the beach.
I know. Look at y'all tan. A little jelly.
Yeah.
Little jelly.
Have to throw a sweatshirt on, though,
I mean,
it's, 60 degrees in here. And
it's not. It's hot.
A little chilly.
Holy cow. It's not chilly by any means. How's shore?
Beautiful.
Yeah?
No rain. Pure sun.
No rain. It's
a little
hot.
cooler than it has been around here.
It was cooler.
Sure.
Well,
it was like between 75 and 80.
Nice
and
little wind coming off.
A little wind off the ocean.
Did you take your yacht out, or did you?
No, still working on that.
Oh!
Still docked.
It's docked? Buddy, it's summer. Let's go. Man, I'll tell you what. 4 out of 5 straight weeks had hockey tournaments with Elvis. It's summer, man.
What's going on?
What am I doing?
Do they ever take a break?
They don't, but I will say Dunlop's Cup champions 2014, PHC.
Congrats.
Elvis team, yes, it was awesome. The kids played amazing, every single one of them. And we ended up playing a team that was supposed to mop us up in the finals, and we ended up winning the game 5-4. It was awesome, yeah. It was a lot of fun, and the kids, they love winning those tournaments. Everything, it's just a yard sale. Right. Elvis fires his mask right on the ice. I'm like, bro, you know how much your mask costs? Right. Could you set it down? Could you just
doing
set
some
it
repairs
down?
now?
Oh man, gosh, it's crazy. But yeah, it was awesome, man. And so it slows down now a little.
It does, yeah, a little break.
Give him a little break. He's still doing his workouts with training aspects at Hollydale, privates with George Bozak. Doing that. But only one practice a week until we get near the end of July. So
that's good.
Nice little break for the boys.
Break would be nice.
Yep. But lots of stuff going on the last couple days. Not to mention the finals where we didn't think we would be. We'll get to that soon here. But possible trade still being talked about since last year. Flyers and the Senators, Ottawa Senators.
I think it's the same guys now?
I don't know. That's what I was going to ask you. But Travis Ballinghoff and Travis Yost, who's with TSN, have been talking about this. Baller.
Inside scoops.
Inside scoops. What's going on? I'm hearing Chychrun, Pinto. Who else? No, I'm kidding.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I know. No, but it's funny because I haven't really heard a lot of. You hear names, maybe heard even Scott Lawton, which I would hate to see Lawton go anywhere, but it could happen. But what are you hearing, Baller?
Yeah, Anthony DeMarco, like you said, mentioned Scott Lawton's name last night. Going back to last summer, we heard Frosty to Ottawa, maybe Brian Boucher's kid coming back, Tyler. Matthew Joseph's name was out there, Shane Pinto. I really like Pinto. I think that'd be a good ad. And then at the deadline, we heard maybe Jacob Chychrun's name could be coming to Philly. I mean, I think that's a good ad too. Some people on Twitter, that's probably the biggest thing with him. A friend of the show, Chris Mayer, thinks it's someone other than Jacob Chychrun, a different defenseman.
G?
G.
Breaking news?
G coming back. Riggs, are you saying that? Are you going down right now?
Inside scoop?
Inside scoop, no. But you're right. There's so many possibilities. Obviously, Ottawa's trying to do something.
Right, yeah. Shake things up a little.
They've got a new coach now with Travis Green. I don't know. I know we have to make moves. I know it's part of this rebuild that Danny and Jonesy are doing. But, God, there's just some guys I just hate to let go of. But that's just probably the fan in me and knowing the guys. But it'll be interesting. It sounds like Danny was just saying on his he just met with the media, and he was saying the last 24 hours there's been a lot of talk, and he could also mean other than with the Senators because another Flyer, a lot of rumors going around about Cam Atkinson. I don't know if you want to say being shopped or if he wants to be traded, but I know there's rumors of San Jose really wanting him. They're trying to do a lot because they got a long way to go. You got to
add something, yeah.
They, probably looking for a guy like Cam for some leadership and a guy that's played a lot of games and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if Cam Baller, does he have a no movement clause? Does he have a trade list?
I believe it's modified.
Okay.
Kind of like Barclay Goodrow. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But
right.
If he doesn't want to go to San Jose, I believe he doesn't have to if he puts that on his list.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that when guys, like not even to do with Cam, but just in general. I mean, yeah, if it's a guy like Connor McDavid, but you're not going to trade him.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like these guys have a lot of say in where they go. I mean, I guess it's.
I mean, I guess it kind of protects them a little bit, right?
It does protect. Listen, if I'm a player and they let me do that, I'm going to put it in my contract.
Right? You got a family, and it's like the last thing you want to do is go to a shit team and shit market. And,
like Cam wants to win, right? Like he's been around a long time, and has that right if it's in his contract. I should know that, and I just don't. But anyway, his name's been floating around.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into some trades, because it's been a busy few days here, the last couple days, but want to congratulate Ian Laperrière on a 2-year extension, which happened in January.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. Just the media
just didn't want to
report it.
So we're reporting it.
Yeah, breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news.
Yeah, congrats, Lap.
Yeah, Lappy's the man.
He is the man. Yeah, he deserves it. He does a hell of a job there down in Lehigh. Or up in Lehigh, where the hell we are on this map.
I think he's up somewhere. I don't know where he is either. But, yeah, congrats, Lappy. Love you, man.
Yes.
You're the man.
Heading out for vacation? Just update your delivery address and enjoy easy HelloFresh meals at your vacation destination. Plans are flexible, so they work with your changing schedule. When you sign up today, you'll unlock free appetizers for life. Can you believe that, Nast?
I can.
Get the party started or enjoy a little pre-dinner treat with an appetizer of your choice in every HelloFresh box for free. Nast, you got something up your sleeve.
I love a little pre-dinner treat. I'm not going to lie.
Doesn't?
I'll tell you this, Riggs. I've already set up delivery for next week when I go to the shore on the weekend. I've got 3 days of delivery going, and it was an easy thing to do.
Go to HelloFresh.com/nastyapps for free appetizers for life. One appetizer item per box while subscription is active. That's free appetizers for life at HelloFresh.com/nastyapps. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
Yes, they are. Big trades. Couple.
Couple.
I got to pick your brain here. First of all, I mean, this was kind of a no-brainer for the Devils. Tom Fitzgerald traded for Jacob Markstrom. They needed some help in goal.
Oh, yeah. It's a great pickup.
Yeah, it is. They traded Kevin Ball and a 2025 first-round draft pick. For Kevin Ball, he's kind of a grittier player, but, I'm sure he'll play, in Calgary. Not a bad player. Also, that 2025 first-round pick is top 10 protected, and Calgary held, I think, 31% or 31.25%, whatever it is, of Markstrom's salary. It's a good move.
It's a pretty solid move, yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously that goalie position is important, and there was, I would say, a void there. And they addressed it.
They tried to fill it with Allen, at the end there, and, I guess he played as well as he could, but I don't believe, nothing against Jake Allen, but I don't think he's a starter. I don't think he's a full-time #1 guy.
Right.
But they were doing anything to try to, catch fire and get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
They've got a very talented team. We've talked about the Devils a lot, so I think this is really going to help them.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Now, here's one that I got to pick your brain on. Washington Capitals traded Darcy Kuemper, who's won a Stanley Cup, in Colorado. He hasn't had the greatest success in Washington, but he traded for Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's break this down.
Let's break this down because this is just something. First of all, Kemper's a serviceable goalie. He's going to L.A. I don't mind that. I think his cap hits around 5, which is pretty normal. And he could play better there too. Like, he didn't play that great in Wash, but Pierre-Luc Dubois, this is his 4th team, bro. He's 25. He's only 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
$68 million over 8 years is the deal he is signed. He's locked up till 2030-31 season at 8.5. He hasn't worked out anywhere. It's him too. Him saying, I don't like it here. I want to get traded. Buddy, and you're the Capitals. Not only are you taking that on, this is a huge risk in my opinion. I don't know the guy, but I mean, if you're looking at a track record and you're a coach or you're a GM, like what is it that they're seeing in your eyes that, hey, we can change this guy. And not to mention, let me just throw one other thing in there. This makes Charlie Lindgren your number one goalie. He's 30 years old. He was pretty hot down the stretch. That's a big risk too for Washington. So to me, Washington is taking two huge risks here. And I mean, if you're the LA Kings, you're doing this deal in a heartbeat. Because obviously this guy didn't work there either, and he didn't like it. So, what are your thoughts on Dubois? Yeah,
I'm not sure which risk is worse, honestly. Like you're bringing on a guy that's clearly seems to be some version of a cancer, right? I mean, it hasn't worked out because his attitude doesn't allow it to. It seems to be. So, Wash picks him up and they must know something that we don't, or other teams don't know. There must be somebody in that organization that thinks they can either fix him or knows him that he's going to somehow conform to their system and, you know, their environment, their club, right? I mean, I don't know what they could see potentially that the rest of the league doesn't.
Yeah.
So risk, and then again, like, you know, the goalie risk is obviously a whole nother set of problems, but to me, like bringing in a obvious cancer.
I hate saying that about a guy, but I mean, what else do you call it?
It's a problem. So I mean, right now, again, unless he just magically has changed and reformed himself, like he's going to come in there like the optimal teammate. I don't see how this works for them.
I don't.
Same problems, another team. You know. It's like,
I mean, and he actually, Riles, he has a no movement clause until the 28th. Like, so you're stuck now, unless he says, I don't like it here, trade me. And then he has, like, there's a few years of where he's got a 15-team no-trade list, and then it goes to 10 the last couple of years of his deal. But I don't think it's going to make – I could be wrong, and I don't wish any bad on the guy or the Capitals, but to me, this is just crazy.
Yeah.
You like you said, there's the two things – you're putting Lindgren, you're making him your number one. That's, you know, hey, maybe he could do it. It'd be great if he can.
Or they have a plan.
A plan. But this, just taking this on, man, to me is like, wow.
Yeah.
You're not the second team that you try, or even the third. You're the fourth team.
Yeah, and what, 5 years? Or
no, he's played in 14. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But that to me, like, I was like, whoa. I didn't see that coming. There were talks about him getting moved, but I'm like, I mean, we may have even talked about, like, who's gonna take a risk? Well, Washington's your team. They're taking a risk. When they bought Cap Friendly, they figured they got all the scoops now. So they can figure it out.
Yeah,
they're gonna fix him. Another trade, not nearly as big, but Ty Dellandrea, who played with the Dallas Stars, he was traded to the San Jose Sharks. San Jose Sharks. Making a lot of noise here.
Yeah, Sharks are turning things around.
Traded him to San Jose for a 4th-round pick. I don't know a whole lot about Dellandrea. I just thought he's an energy guy. He was a former 1st-round pick. I think he was, in 2018. I think he was a 1st-round pick in 2018. He's only 23 years old. But obviously Dallas is moving him. They got a 4th-round pick.
Yeah.
So nothing crazy there. Barclay Goodrow. This is one thing I wanted to run by you here. He's claimed off waivers by San Jose. Again, San Jose is a lot of this. Goodrow had San Jose on his no-trade list. So the Rangers like, okay. They put him on waivers. And then, obviously, San Jose claims him. He played his first 6 seasons there, and he obviously did not want to go back. Obviously, they're rebuilding. It goes without saying. But what are your thoughts if you're management there? I mean, that's your right to do, right? Like, you got to do what you have to do that you feels best for your team.
Yeah, it almost appears like it's maybe an FU.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a kick in the nuts if you're Barclay Goodrow. Like,
I don't know. I mean, like, I would like to see what the list is. I mean, there are teams, like, I guess there must not have been other interest
right
in a trade with those teams, but obviously the Sharks have first right?
Yeah,
I mean, so
exactly.
they know that obviously there's communications there that if they put them on waivers, they're going to grab them.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, his play dropped off, but I don't know what to think about that. There's something maybe underlying there that we don't know. Or,
Yeah, true.
it seems like that, but again, you said it's business is business. They're allowed to do that. If you can't make the trade, that is a workaround.
Right.
Does it appear to be a little shady? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you call it, but it just seems to be a little bit of a kick in the balls. But hey, business.
It's business. Still getting.
He's still getting paid.
Still get paid.
Yeah, and he may say, "Hey, look, guys, can you trade me?"
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe they couldn't get him
that
traded.
list will.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that list will expand.
Exactly. Filip Hronek, Vancouver D-man, had a pretty good year. 48 points, plus 33. Signed an 8-year deal, 7.2 per year. Not a bad deal. Our boy Frank was talking a lot about this, and I don't know if he's getting shit for it, but he's pretty damn close to 8 a year. I know he said north of 8, didn't he, Baller? But still, 8 years, 7.2, not a bad deal. So good for him. Our buddy Mark Friedman signed a 1-year extension with the Canucks. Good for him.
Yeah.
I really think he's a serviceable player, man. I
think so too.
I like him.
He plays hard, for a smaller guy. He gets in there. He's mobile.
He is. He can skate out of trouble.
Yeah, he can. Yeah.
I thought the games he got to play with the Flyers, I mean, he didn't stand out as oh my God, but you weren't oh, this guy can't play. He skated out of situations. He could move the puck. I think he's a good little player. And I always liked Frito. I got along well with him.
Yeah. I think maybe the argument against him is his attitude a little bit,
Yeah.
And hopefully it's improved because he stuck around.
Yeah, it must be because it stuck around. And, that comes up. You see that a lot, Riles, especially you with your coaching. Sometimes kids, it just take,
it takes time to mature.
Some longer. And like I said, I know he had, supposedly attitude problems, but he was nothing but great with me every time, and we would always have little talks, equipment guys, sometimes you try to pump a guy up a little bit, and I always liked Frito, and he was super respectful and never had an issue with him. So
yeah, I coached him briefly there in Lehigh, and I had no problems with him. I can see what the friction was a little bit, and I think it is a lack of maturity. It's just an entitlement thing, right? You're a young guy coming out of college, and you're touted highly by your scouts and the organization. So when you're not playing and where you think you are, if you don't have the proper maturity, it can kind of rub some of the teammates the wrong way. But I'd like to think that he's gotten better because he keeps getting shots, and he's he's been holding his own. So I wish him the best.
Yeah, me too, man.
You always wish guys can find themselves.
On.
Let's get him on.
We gotta get him on. I'll reach
not?
out to him. I know. We just kind of dropped the ball on that one.
Let's do it. Hey, Nast, how cool would it be to go up to Edmonton for Game 6?
Well, it would be very cool, especially if you let me and you go on your PJ up there, because I know what we're doing. If we do take your PJ up there, I know one thing. I'm going to gametime.co, and I'm grabbing last-minute tickets for Game 6 in Edmonton.
Oh, why wouldn't you?
Well, I'll tell you this. Game Time has killer last-minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, lowest price guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets, and it doesn't just have to be hockey or basketball or baseball. It can be concerts. Take a look at their top 15 list of concerts coming this summer. I see one coming up tomorrow that is a country concert, and I love those only because I like the scenery. Country shows.
Of course you do, Nast.
And Game Time is the spot to grab your tickets.
Ooh, yeah. Lowest price guaranteed, even cancellation protection, job loss protection. Can you believe that?
I can't.
Take the guesswork out of buying tickets, sports, concerts, you name it, with gametime.co. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code NASTY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code NASTY, N-A-S-T-Y, for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Boom. Philly native Eric Tulsky.
Whew.
Named
Big
full-time GM in Carolina. Good for him. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Here's my question for you as a former player, former coach. I know I'm old school. We talk about the analytics part of the game. I know it's in every sport now. This isn't Moneyball, but I'm asking you. Obviously, Tulsky is a analytics guy. When you were coaching, how much did you put into your, like, to me, you're a hockey guy. You played the game. You coached. Can you not see by watching? Like, I understand there's some important pieces to the analytic. You know, I do understand. I'm not that old that I don't understand some of it, but I don't know, man. Like, I put more stock in what you think of this guy watching him every single night play than numbers, like some of the numbers that come up.
Right. Well, I would say that the old eye test is the most important,
right?
And the analytics should support that. I think they're there to support what we see.
Okay.
For example, like, obviously you can tell when a guy's playing well.
Yeah.
But if you start breaking down, some of these numbers, maybe there's a few little things you could maybe use to teach, or maybe talk to the player around, whether it's breakout things or entry things. But you can't base everything on the analytics, because I don't think it tells the full picture. And another example would be, like, I remember one of the analytics that we would look at would be entries with possession. And of course, every team would coach like, let's try and enter the zone with possession.
Right.
But that's not always possible, right? If a good defending team squeezes you out, the play would be to put it in space behind the defenseman, not to try and carry it through possession and turn the puck over. So you could break down that, you could look at these numbers and be like, well, we didn't have that many entries with possession today, but maybe they just did a hell of a job defending. So maybe the player made the right play, but the analytics don't support what the coach wants, which would be possession entries. So you just have to look at it with some sort of intelligence that would try and support what we already know to be true. After every coach and the whole coaching staff watches the game probably at least, well, for sure once, possibly a second time, and then you're combing through all these clips on top of that. So yes, they have value, but you can get lost in the analytics. We've seen before, like just so many numbers and so many little things. Hockey's such a fast read and react sport. To reduce it to just that, to me, is like doing the game a disservice. But I understand, when you start breaking down some of these numbers, it could paint an interesting picture. Yeah. But we talked about before we even hopped on here, like guys that maybe have had arguably an off season, that somehow the analytics
say that they didn't,
and then vice versa. Like, be like, wow, this guy really like turned it up, and just like was a some bit of a beast in some way, shape, or form. But then the analytics, some versions of the analytics don't support that. So I think you have to have both. Yeah. But I mean, there's nothing quite like the eye test, because the one thing analytics don't show and can't quantify is energy and attitude, right? Yeah. I mean, it's like how you carry yourself, how you deal with adversity, how you react to certain things in games, and the presence that you bring and the consistency that you bring every single night. So. I know what your thoughts are on all that.
Well, no, I agree with you, and it's funny. Like, I remember years ago when Hack was coaching here, and I think it was Mondays they had to go up. The coaches had to go up in the afternoon for their analytics meeting. And nothing against the analytic guys. They're just going off what they see. But my joke with Hack was, because he came down one day, and he's like, I get it. I get the analytics part. There's a lot of things that we can use from it. But if I have a guy that's never played a hockey game, again, tell me we need better sticks, I'm going to fucking snap.
Yeah.
So every week, Monday, the coach would be going up, and I'd be like, Hack, make sure get better sticks here,
Puck.
Yeah. And he's just like, all right, now, he laughed, and he's like, I know. And he's like, I don't need someone to tell me we need better, in certain situations. But it was just kind of funny. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you about that, because I know I'm old school, but
yeah,
I know it's some important things you can get from that, but
especially from like opposing teams, when you start like pre-scouting other teams, like how they break the puck out, like like 60% of the time they're going up the strong side, they limited D-to-D passes. So, there's certain things like that can certainly help pre-scouting. And obviously there's a lot to break into when you talk about like your own personal team and individuals with analytics. But you can get lost in it. There's so many. Like I'm sure the packets increased. Like I think it was like a 10 or 12 page packet after every game when I was coaching with the Phantoms. I would imagine it's way more in depth now, like 30, 40, 50 pages of just like every little thing can be broken down. It's just not the full picture.
Right.
But, in combination, again, with the L to I test and discussion between the coaching staffs, because every coach has a different perspective too.
Yeah.
Right? So then you're talking about systems, philosophy, perspective on certain plays, and then the numbers are the numbers. And then those could be questionable too, because that's a human creating those metrics. And then, well, what did you see here? Was that a turnover? Was that, whatever. We can go on for days on this, but
yeah, exactly.
But you got an analytics guy that's been sitting as assistant GM for however many years. That's now the GM that obviously will be listening to his advisors and the rest of his staff there around moves and how to communicate certain things.
Well, it'll be Eddie Baller was saying to us they're trying to maybe find unless he has an assistant baller, I don't know that, but maybe someone that has had some experience and can talk if Tulsky doesn't, if he feels like he can't. I mean, he's a pretty intelligent guy. I don't understand why he couldn't hold a conversation with another GM, but I guess we'll see. We'll see, brother.
Yeah, I think on that is just hockey guys are a little bit different.
That's
and,
true.
What I mean? A lot of these GMs have played right and know each other.
Yeah.
So there's like this kind of like immediate connection already. So maybe it's that more than anything.
Too,
but I mean, if you get hired as a GM, you'd like to think that whoever hires you believes you can have a conversation with another GM. Otherwise, you're hiring another person or you're leaning on someone else to do the grunt work. So
true.
Otherwise, you could have just stayed as assistant GM.
Right,
and offered his analytics to the GM. So
exactly.
So all good.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get Eric on, Philly boy.
Yeah.
Get him on the show. We'll have to reach out. We got to get Roddy on too. He said he would do it, so we got to get him on. Quickly, Kyle MacLean in the New York for the New York Islanders signed his dad, John MacLean, played a long time in the NHL, signed a 3-year extension. Congrats to him. He basically got his first goal this year. He got called up, and nice little deal for him. 3-year deal extension. Columbus.
They're making moves, rocking the boat.
Babsy. Is there a chance?
Is he coming back?
I don't know, but fortunately, I don't mean to make light of the situation, but Pascal Vincent relieved of his duties after only one season.
It's tough.
I mean,
what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do? But word is, Babsy's like, no iPhone, nothing, no phones.
No phones.
Like, can I come back? No, I'm kidding. But what do you do there? Columbus, like I don't know, and on top of that, I did want to mention to you, Patrik Laine. We kind of talked about Dubois wants out. Supposedly the Kraken.
Can you blame him?
No, but I mean, how many teams you want out of? Like, I mean.
Oh, I know. Yeah, everyone wants to win, and when you're on a shitty team,
but you have to show up too.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, there's nothing easy about being on a shitty team, right? I mean, it's a character check.
Yeah,
it's easy to want out.
Right.
Everyone wants to go on a good team. But
I thought with Johnny Goodrow going there and like feeding him the biscuit.
To me, they should have been better.
They should have been better, but
there's not a whole lot of supporting cast there.
They're
like dark holes, eh? When you go to these teams, it's like you can have all these great years, and you go to this dark hole of a team, and it's just like everyone's performance drops.
Right.
It's hard to excel in those situations, but I think this is where the character really shows, and to be resilient in these situations, but easy to want out.
I mean, it's easy to want out, and like Laine's proven. I mean, like, look, this guy can shoot a hockey puck, and he can bury the pill, but like, how invested is he? Like, so if he goes somewhere new, is he gonna be invested? Because like I said, I thought he would have come out with 40 G's this year.
Yeah, easy
playing with Johnny, but again, it doesn't always work, and I just thought that was wild. I mean, they've had a lot of turnover here in the last. I mean, think about it. They've had 2 coaches in one season, even though Babcock didn't make it past a week and a half. But I mean, that's two coaching changes either way, because he did meet with players last year before the shit hit the fan there. But it's
not a good look.
It's not a good look, and I don't. From what I've heard from a couple of friends, maybe a couple of play there, he's the only one wanting out of there.
Yeah,
but maybe this coaching change could do something. Who knows? But quickly. not sure how true this is. Didn't hear it from a great source, but I was told that the Leafs, Toronto Maple Leafs, our good buddy Craig Berube, the new coach there, actually want to try and extend Marner instead of trade him. I don't know how true that is, though. That I saw it at a pretty good spot, but I don't know how true that is. But they do have $19 million in cap space this year. But rumor has it that they're going to go after Gensel. Who else was it? Ballers? A few teams probably going to go after Jake Gensel.
Yeah, I guess
it was Canucks are going to go heavy, but be interested to see. I'm still really interested to see what happens, especially with the drafts coming up. If Toronto makes some moves there, or if they wait, if they do keep Marner, it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot going on in Toronto. Welcome to Toronto, Chief.
Yeah,
Here
no
we
doubt.
go. This guy's probably not sleeping at all.
Right. I mean, I see both sides of the argument with this guy, right? I mean, it's hard to find skilled guys like that, right? I mean, like, just regular season points and just high level skill. It's just always a question of like, how far can you take that?
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, big market like Toronto, like maybe it's just because they just isolate, the ISO cams on these guys so much more, and you just pick it apart. But I mean, those guys don't just grow on trees,
No, they
and
don't.
you have a skill like that. It's just how can you elevate that skill and just extend it a little bit further and get you, and maybe Chief is that answer. You know what I mean? It's just like a guy that's done it before.
Maybe that's why they prefer that after talking with Chief the last few weeks.
And he's done it before.
He's probably given them, okay, if we're going to keep him, here's what I'm going to do. And because I guarantee he thought about this before. Like he's a smart man and a hockey guy. So be interested to see what they do. I know it's north of the border, but I'm like super excited to see which way they go here.
Yeah, me too. It's the first time I've actually really give a shit about the Leafs.
Yeah, right.
Since I was in the
Except
organization
when you played
for a year.
there and fought in the showers or tried to fight in the showers.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I wish Chief and them the best because I mean, I obviously love Chief, and there's no better guy to me that can deal with the pressure of that market and do it the way he's going to do it anyways. He's going to do it his way, and that doesn't mean in a selfish way. He just has a way that commands respect and everyone to buy in, as most coaches want, but he just has a way to actually do it.
Yeah, and like one of the things I think one of his biggest qualities as a human, not even as a coach, but is his communication. Right. And the way he does it. First of all, he's funny as shit.
Yeah.
But you could see in St. Louis there, you're handling some pretty big personalities. Now you're probably even a higher level of personalities, but he's just able to do it, and he can be hard. I don't want to say hard, but he expects a lot out of his players,
as he should,
and the players should want their coach to want that. And hopefully it's all going to work out. And like I said, beating a dead horse here, but I just can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, and to your point there, and direct, right? The player knows exactly where he stands. There's none of this psychological fluff that a lot of these guys play with.
That's huge.
And he uses humor a lot of the time, right? So it's like he'll call you out, make light of it. He means business, but it's like to just learn from it, move on. Let's not dwell on it and have this weird energy that a lot of times coaches and players have this awkward energy when they're being coached and told something, right? I just think that whether it's Austin Matthews or whoever he had there with the St. Louis Blues, it really don't matter. These guys want to be coached, and they want a coach that's going to push them,
right?
But in a way that's not psychological. It's just like here's the information. This is what I demand, and I would say demand. I mean, this is what I expect.
Yeah.
And there's it's black and white, right? I mean, really. And I think that's the beauty of Chief. He communicates it, and there's no gray.
The funny part is he wasn't a head coach when Yogs played here, but to see how the respect of a guy like Jaromir Jagr had for Chief,
right?
Jaromir Jagr's literally coming off the ice and Chiefs giving. We've talked about this before. Going, "Hot boy, Yogs, way to kill it off for him." Here's one of the best players ever,
right?
And he's like, busted his chops, making fun of him. Just hold it longer and kill the whole power play off.
Yeah, the best penalty killer.
And Yogg's laughing, looking back at him, laughing. Oh, did you play the power play, Chief? And Chief's like, nope. But I was out there dropping the mitts, slapping guys around. And he could do that, and it makes me laugh to think about a guy like Matthews. Like, to me, I feel like he's going to absolutely love Chief.
Oh, for sure.
Because Chief would be like, couldn't even get 70, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Just how he is. He's just so funny, and
there's no ego there, right?
No,
it's just busting balls. There's no ego. It's not like he's demeaning anybody.
No,
he just loves to just
I think
be a good friend.
They'll like that.
Yeah,
I think they'll like that. But anyway, last little small thing I have, which isn't anything that would shock anyone, is Draisaitl had said that his deal's up, I think, after next season, and he's looking for the max term, and I think he'll get it. I think there's 32 teams that would give it to him.
Yeah, you think?
So I don't think that's any real news, but we'll see. And the cap's going to keep going up, I think, as well. So
yes,
lots going on, bro. All right, knuckleheads, get ready for the Daily Face-Off Live Free Agency Special coming to you on July 1st, 2024, live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you join Tyler Yaremchuk, NHL insider Frank Saravalli, former NHLers Carter Hutton and Kobe Cohen, and friends from all over the league for 3 hours of nonstop action as they dive into the madness of free agency rigs.
They will be breaking down every signing, discussing the impact on teams, predicting the future of the free agents, and giving you the inside scoop on all the wheeling and dealing happening around the league. Catch all the action live on July 1st from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern for the Daily Face-Off Live Free Agency Special you won't want to miss.
I will not miss it. Now let's dive in here to the finals.
Whew.
First of all, Baller, you jinxed me on my Conn Smythe pick. Because everything was rolling along like Bob. I was going to be plus 400.
Until McDavid just turned.
Then we stepped into game 4. And shit went the other way.
Oh, my gosh.
No, but last week, before we had Coots on, we were talking, and it was 2-0 Florida. Still looked like, obviously it could go either way. You go back home. I know you had. I think we both had Edmonton probably winning that game, and they don't. Mm-hmm. Then I'm thinking sweep, although it's a hard thing to do to close the team out. But Edmonton kind of came ready in game 4, buddy, putting up an 8 spot. Bob pulled for our buddy Anthony Stolars, who got in there, and I don't know who was going to stop anything that night. Edmonton Oilers were throwing at him, but huge win. Game 4, you're still like, okay, Florida goes home. Yeah. Take care of business, but there's this guy
going back.
There's this guy named Connor McDavid that decided, okay, this is going to be really hard for you guys. No, but in all seriousness, 8 points in the last 2 games. Baller, you got to throw the. Well, there's a few plays.
Oh my God,
the whole game, but obviously, Baller throw up that goal where he literally had been out on the ice over 2 minutes, which. That's another thing people don't understand. Oh, well, what's a big deal? No, that's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, he's a smart enough player. We talked about Chris Pronger being able to know when to pick his spots. But this guy is buzzing around, and then he picks the puck up, obviously, comes in, beats basically 4 guys, and then the worm back door for the slam dunk. Looked like me with a no look. And hoops, though, not hockey.
Hoops, yeah.
No, but seriously, that play is... How many times have we seen Connor McDavid do this? I mean, there's highlight after highlight after highlight.
Yeah, it's on another level.
But I felt like in game 5, obviously he was a story. Talk about Connor Brown too. 2 shorthanded goals back-to-back games and big time plays, man. Mm-hmm. You're beating Bob, and you can say what you want about Bob. Once you watch those goals, the one I didn't like, but. We talked about this before the show, and maybe Baller could throw that one up too, is the one he shot through Bob's feet. Now, there's all this talk about the RVH, the goalies. I hate when they go down, but there's a point right there that all the goalie coaches make. I know George Bozak, I talk to him all the time about this, well, guys are getting beat up over their head. Well, Bob stayed up, but McDavid, you could see his head's up, Riles. The whole time. And he shoots that puck perfectly there. I don't think it's like, I'm just going to throw it on the net.
No.
I think he shot to score there.
Well, of course.
It's Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
I don't think everyone would agree with that. But, I mean, this guy's got 8 points in the last 2 games, and he's put the team on his back, which he does a lot, along with Draisaitl. It's not just him, but it's a lot him. And now, if you're the Florida Panthers, you're going back for Game 6, but you're starting to scratch your head a little bit here. Like, this is, I feel like if they can get out of the first period unscathed or even up a goal or tied, I think maybe they can fall into their game, because I thought in Game 5, this is what I was going to say previously, I thought they took the play to Edmonton, and they looked more like the Panther team, and they were desperate team, obviously fighting back, but at the end of the day, Edmonton won the game, and we're going back for Game 6.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a weapon like McDavid, it's like you're never out of the game, no matter how well Florida plays. I mean, we said before we got on the air here, we're like, as soon as McDavid steps on the ice, he's not the only one, but let's just talk about him, because he is the best player in the world. Like, it don't matter where the puck is, like, there's danger.
Right.
He's just one puck possession away from turning the game around.
Yeah.
Every time he's on the ice. And you don't think he's bringing that energy back to Edmonton?
Oh, buddy.
The whole squad. And my prediction was Florida in 6, and it's like, I don't even know what to think. Like, it's like...
that's what makes it so great, though. You know, like, you almost want to see a Game 7 now.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to,
and
honestly.
I think we might.
Screw my prediction. I'd love to see. It's great for the game.
It is great for the game, and if there was anyone out there, I mean, it could be a casual fan, probably knows who McDavid is, but if you've watched, you're probably going to... You've gained some new fans, like especially of him, and just the, like, even if you don't understand hockey, seeing what he does a lot of the times, like, it's pretty amazing, man.
It is.
Coming up on Danny B, most points in a first Stanley Cup final appearance. Danny B and Mario are tied with 12. McDavid's right behind them at 11.
Wow,
I didn't know that one. He might break that one.
I would say so, right?
Yeah, I know.
Not if Bob shuts him out.
Not if Bob shuts him out. That's right. But
what about a couple apples?
Yeah, he could definitely get the appies. But yeah, he's coming up on Gretzky's record for most points in a Stanley Cup playoff run. He's pretty fucking amazing. Like, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, that's why he's the best, and that's why your best player's got to be your best.
Yeah,
and he keeps proving this, and I mean, I can't wait for Game 6.
I know, me either. And the funny thing is I know we've talked about this, earlier in the season, even last year. It's like, how long is he going to hold out here in Edmonton until they get, like other? Because we never thought they were going to be in the finals. I don't think you did in the beginning of the season. And obviously, Chris Knobloch comes in and it just totally turned this season around. You got to give him credit for all the moves he's made. We've talked about it, but making Skinner the number one guy, and the last few games here, he's shown why. I got a stat for you, Riles, about Skinner, talking about him in games 4 through 7 in the 2024 playoffs that we're in. He's 9-0. Goals against of under 2.
Not bad.
1.56 and a 0.939 save percentage.
Is that good?
It's not bad. It's not bad, and it's pretty amazing. Games 4 through 7. Those are the money games.
Yeah, right.
So we might have to talk about this on Bet365, but this guy, his numbers aren't lying there. So
numbers don't lie.
They don't lie sometimes, but they can be changed. But yeah, back to what I was saying. We didn't, you're thinking, like, Connor's been in the league for a while. We've talked about, like, how much longer do you hang here if you're not going to be able to get, but now they're actually 2 games away. Obviously, they're also 1 game away from elimination, but they're 2 games away from hoisting the cup, man.
It's crazy.
It's wild, and I can't wait. Like you said, I just can't wait for Game 6.
Edmonton's going to be buzzing.
Oh, my God. Indoor, outdoor.
I mean, fans, players, the energy's got
oh, my God.
through the roof.
Are we going? We should jump on
Drive
a
up
flight
there?
tonight. I'm not driving. We never make it. We should fly. We should fly tonight. Right?
Yeah? Think so?
There. Yeah, why not?
Fly
I haven't
through
been
Mini?
to Edmonton in a while. Hadn't been there in a while.
Neither have I.
Well, obviously.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
It's
Yeah,
time to go.
Corey Snyder was saying, I was watching, he was on NHL Network, and he was talking about the year they lost Game 7 to Boston, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And he said tickets that day for Game 7 are going for $10,000.
Not surprised.
And people were paying.
Oh, yeah. Crazy Canadians.
And then they ended up losing. When they lose 3-0 that game or something, it was crazy. But that was in Vancouver. But Edmonton is going to be nuts, and it would be a lot of fun to be there, to be honest. So we'll see, man. Can't wait. Big game Friday night, 8 o'clock.
What's Paul Maurice's message to the boys?
Well, he does a lot of hand movements, and I don't know. I mean, you just got to reiterate the fact that you're a really good team, and there's a reason we're here, I guess. Like, you were the coach. I know what I said to my Might team, but it's a little different when you're talking about this. But I would think you try to keep it light and
you're right, yeah.
And you don't want to. Obviously, the players know what's at stake here, and the fact that you were up 3-0. We've been in that situation. Not me as a player, obviously, but we brought this up before 2010. That's a hard thing to do. Mike Richards did it twice. He did it with LA a few years after he did it with us, but you can't count them out at all after watching the last 2 games.
No,
it could happen, and that would be heartbreaking, obviously, for the Panthers. But look, man, they've got a really good team. Like I said, I think if they can weather the storm, I think the first 10 minutes are going to be nuts in there. That's a cliche thing,
right.
But you know it is.
Oh, yeah.
Like the roof's going to be ready to come off that place. So we'll
weather
see.
the storm, and for Florida, trying to get on the board
Try to get
early.
a lead.
Trying
to get a lead, yeah.
But I asked that question, kind of jokingly, but like I'm not sure there's much to say. Right? I mean, you're not going to start breaking down more film around McDavid, because the reality is no matter how much you focus on looking after him, he's still going to pull shit out of his ass. So
he just does different things.
Yeah, exactly.
What you don't think he's going to do,
so,
right?
I mean, but as far as their attitude and the way they approach the game, like you said, like they were the better team probably.
Right. Yeah.
In Game 5, and they still
and
found
Edmonton
a way.
was in Game 1.
Right, yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. So it balances itself out. But, I don't see them really changing anything. They're just going to have to put those last 2 games behind them.
Yeah.
And just go into Edmonton
That's all you can do.
as confident as they've been.
And they've been a good road team as well, right? Like, they've been a good road team.
Yeah, so it's going to be a hell of a game.
Hell yeah. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait.
One final thing. Going back to a previous talking point earlier in the episode, Travis Yost from TSN just reported, following his report last night, that the Flyers are trying to move up in the draft. So the Senators have the 7 pick, Flyers have 12, and then they also have 31 or 32, the Panthers pick. So wherever they finish, is it as simple as a roster player in the 12 to move up to 7? Do you get really crazy and it's the 32 and an even bigger roster player? Guess we'll see.
Great point, yeah. That's
Well, I like where their head's at.
Yeah,
It's showing that they're trying to be better sooner, right?
Yeah,
Get a better player, right?
And if you're jumping 5 spots, which people might be like, oh, 5, but it could be a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously they must have their eye on someone that they think is going to be at that spot, or maybe just the best player available. So thanks, Paul. That's
nice little update.
it's interesting. Yeah, for sure. So. All right, Riggs, this segment is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of Nasty Knuckles. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use code HOCKEYCA. All right, Riles, pull out your Bet365 app and talk to me. Tell me what you're going for, because you haven't exactly been on fire.
Oh, to say the least. Nas, you're not going to believe this.
I'm probably not.
I'm abandoning my prediction. Game 6
of Florida
Panthers.
Okay, all right. This is.
I just have to.
Sports will make a man do it.
Oh,
sometimes.
Gosh. The energy that Edmonton's bringing.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man.
All right.
I'm hitting this parlay.
Okay, what is it?
0 for 2 right now, so 3 for $1.
What do you got?
I am taking Edmonton on the money line.
Okay, you said a parlay, so you're taking more than Edmonton on the money line. What else you got?
I'm taking Edmonton on the money line.
Okay.
And I'm going to take Zach Hyman to score, 1 snizzle.
You could probably do it.
And the way McDavid's going, he's got at least 2 apples in him. So 2 apples for McDavid.
Wow.
That's the parlay. Got it.
Not a bad parlay. What's it paying out?
$500.
Oh, wow. All right, so you're plus $500. I'm going to follow you, and it's at a parlay, but I'm going to go the other way. I just have a feeling. I don't know what it is. I could be wrong. Baller already jinxed my other my Conn Smythe pick. Maybe he did. But I'm going to go with the Florida Panthers on the money line.
Whew.
I just think they've been a good road team. Obviously, their last road game wasn't at all what they wanted, losing 8-1. But I'm going to take them on the money line in this same game parlay, which is opposite of you. So we're going head to head.
Oh yeah.
All right. I'm going to take Carter Verhaeghe to score a goal. He scored a lot of big goals in the last 2 years, so I could see him. I think he's due. Also, Alexander Barkov to get one or more assists. I think that's definitely doable. So that's where I'm going. So I'm going to stick with your Florida Panthers in 6 games. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little worried, but I just I got this gut feeling that they're gonna get it done tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's bold. I just see the momentum and energy that Edmonton's bringing. It's just hard to ignore it.
I'm not gonna lie. I see exactly what you see, but I just want to go against you. I want to go against you, but I do. I just have a feeling, like we talked about earlier in the show, if Florida can not get down 2 to 3 goals, which is going to be hard in that atmosphere and the way Edmonton's playing, but I think they're going to find a way to do it. That's my pick. That's my opinion. So,
like where your head's at, Nas. We'll see.
Yep. Bet 365, baby.
All right, Nas. You know what time it is?
I think I do.
Yeah, it's that time.
I'm going to tell you what. It's time for Clear Rum questions, brought to you by Clear Rum. So refreshing in these hot days. Lots of ice.
Been staying
Some
cool.
berries. Oh yeah.
Oh, berries.
I put berries in it.
Whew,
I had you try the cucumsy.
Nutrients.
Hey, I had you try. You had a little taste of the cucumsy with some blueberries in it. Seriously, so good, so refreshing.
Like a salad in a drink.
Kind of. Kind of a salad in a drink. Oh boy, you didn't say anything about tossed salads, but anyway, we're going here. Clear Rum questions brought to you by Clear Rum. Go to clearrum.com/shop. Type in Nasty 2023 and get 35% off of your order. PA residents only. Get after it. It's summertime. Most refreshing drink.
Whew.
Love it. What's up, baller?
Today we got Moster, 27, over on Instagram leading us off. He's living in fantasy land. Okay. He wants to know some of your favorite what ifs. For example, what if they didn't trade Richards and Carter and they rolled with Bob? What if Pronger doesn't go down in 11-12? What if Lindros doesn't go concussed? What's yours?
That's that's an interesting question because there's always what ifs, right? Mm-hmm. What if we found a way to win Game 6 and we go into Chicago and win Game 7?
All right. That's a good one.
But out of his picks there, I find it's so hard to think about because we have talked about before, not to get too long-winded here, but the team that we had that went to the finals in 2010, right? Mm-hmm. We come back in 2011, have a pretty good year. Actually, did we win the Eastern Conference that year? Because I remember I got a picture of us.
The division.
We won the division.
You guys were like first in points in the entire NHL for like
a long time,
3/4 of the year.
So that year we ended up winning the division, and we did lose earlier than we expected, but we were marching along there and thought, I think we beat Buffalo in 7. That was when Prong said, "I'm playing."
Oh yeah.
Remember when he told me?
I'm in.
I said, "Gear's hanging. Prong's
it's ready.
We're ready." And he stood in front on the power play. Barely played, but his presence was there. We won that game in overtime. Ville Leno scored the big goal, which was awesome. I love that goal. And you know what I love about it? Well, one, he scored it and we won. But Richie's beside to play it. He jumps up in there. It's like I love that one. He did it when Carbomb scored too in the finals, or not the finals, but in the playoffs the year before against Devils when he scored an overtime goal. But my biggest thing would maybe be what if we didn't trade those guys and we had Bob and you still had Prongs and you still had Matty Carl and Chemo, that's a what if for me. I kind of like that scenario. The Big E thing is so long ago.
Yeah,
like
hard.
What if, I don't really that one, there were a lot of things going on there that people don't know or whatever. I don't even want to get into, but I think mine would be the Carter Richards thing and Bob being.
Well, yeah, exactly. You got to have Bob in there because
Yeah.
I think Flyers seem to have spent the last parts of 2 decades trying to find that franchise goaltender. So I would agree.
Yeah.
I mean, Karts and Richie go on to win. Bob is Bob, and
Bob's in his second finals in a row. Won a couple Vezinas there.
I mean, Prong Daddy would have retired somewhere probably in the last 5 years had he not been having the concussion-related issues. But
him even getting hurt after that trade that's a good what if too. He said that what if that year could have been a lot different.
Oh yeah,
because we were a feisty team, with all the young kids. We talked about this when we had Coots on. We were kind of talking about the young guys and just the way they played. Like all those guys, Matt Reed scoring 20, some goals that year. Just the whole thing, beating Pittsburgh. What if you did have Prongs? Getting into that Devils series where we won Game 1, maybe he had more to bring to the locker room as a player. As a guy that'd been around. I mean, who knows? But it's a what if.
Yeah.
So that's a great question.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I like where his head's at.
We got Grumbo over on Twitter. Gold like silver. Riles, what's your most memorable moment as a player in the show and out?
Great question.
Can I say something real quick before you answer?
Sure can.
Probably off the ice would
Kickball?
be carrots and
Carrots and broccoli.
Carrots and broxy.
Yeah.
Inside joke.
Well, I have to say my first shift, just because it's it's the reality of a dream come true.
Right.
So that sticks out to me. And then going back to 2010 there, even though I wasn't playing, just being a part of that team and winning that last game of the season in a shootout and going the distance, obviously the Boston series, and just witnessing, which I thought was going to be a miracle of some sort.
Yeah.
That sticks out to me for sure. Just that energy and just being a part of something seemed to be like surreal, right? It was just like this momentum, this energy that you just can't deny. You just can't cultivate. By yourself. So I would say that, and just There's other memories in there, but I think between my first game there, and then basically the last phase of my career, with the Flyers there, that sticks out for sure. That was something special. That team and the chemistry, the energy, and I'd say that's it.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Great question.
All right, we got one more.
Oh yeah,
this one's from Mike McQuiston over on Instagram. Do you guys think Giroux will come back and play his last season with us to retire a Flyer?
It's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
I would love it.
I think it'd be cool, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Don't see that happening.
I know one thing, he was hanging out with Snoop Dogg.
Oh, I saw that. Snoop Dogg's rocking his jersey.
I love it.
Actually, speaking of that, Snoop Dogg, his company, Death Row Records, did an Enforcer jersey line, and he's in Edmonton with LaRock.
No way.
At this moment. It might have already happened. I saw LaRock post something.
Oh, wow.
Because he was doing the Canadian tour there, and I think he had Ryan Reeves' jersey there in Toronto.
Okay.
Chris Nyland's jersey in Montreal.
And he wore G's?
And he wore G's, yeah.
You must have seen G's fight log on hockeyfights.com.
G just slid in there because he's an all-star.
Yeah, true.
That's all.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and he's G. So, yeah, great question.
That is a good question. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see it, but I'm not sure it's in the cards.
Yeah.
Not part of the rebuild.
I don't think it is part of the rebuild. I think it would help.
It would help, yeah. Having a veteran presence like that.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see.
Who knows? Maybe
Danny's got some up his sleeve.
You never know. We haven't been given any names. We talked about the rumors going around. You never know.
Never know. That's a wrap.
That's it.
162.
Boom.
Whew.
Done.
Just like that.
Just like that.
In the books. Until next week.
Number one like it was yesterday.
I know, right? Can't forget that.
Who number one was?
Hartsey.
Yep. You're right.
It's a long time ago.
Which one?
Number one.
You know a couple heartsies.
Oh, yeah. Scott Hartnell.
Scott Hartnell. Yeah.
That's right. So be sure to tune in next week for 163. Playoffs will be over.
Yes, they will be.
Finals will be over. There will be a Stanley Cup champion announced.
We should have the cup in stew in the studio.
And I will have nailed my parlay.
You will have nailed your parlay. So you're saying Game 7?
Saying Game 7.
Game 7. We'll see.
All right. Be sure to subscribe. Give us a like. Shoot us those amazing questions. Until then, stay safe, knuckleheads.
See ya.